Millzy. You're not going to answer me? Okay, that's fine.
Hello.
That's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. No,
I was just confirming we're recording. Don't worry about it.
No, it's fine.
No other reason?
No, don't worry. You're not going to answer me. I'll do the show myself. All right? Now I know what we're going to talk about today, and I'm just going to do it myself. All right, man?
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
There's actually very immaculate notes for the show today, so good luck finding them on your own.
Yeah, you told me around noon, you're going to be like, hey, I'm writing down notes, and I was like, hey.
They're also not on our shared drive, so you're not going to be able to see them, but good luck.
That's fine. You know what? I could probably make some rambling noises for about an hour if I needed to.
You could probably. And you know what? All I need to do is mention some sort of hot take to make you mad. That has nothing to do with magic. And you'll just ramble the entire time.
Do you need to make a hot take, or I need to make a hot take?
Well, I feel like if... No one wants to hear me talk about my hot takes so clearly.
I mean, it's plain and simple. Like, we get it. Swords, Plowshares is trash.
You've said this multiple times, and I've pushed back on you multiple times. And yes, Path to Exile is just clearly a better spell.
Thank you. All right. With that, thank you for listening and watching and all that good stuff. We'll see you. Oh, wait. We got to still do the rest of the show. My bad.
Ideally, yeah. Yes. That's why we're here.
Welcome back to Hometown Commander. I am your host, Mikey, and with me, as always, is...
Yeah, boy, Millzy.
We're back.
We are back.
We're going to say it every time.
I love we say this every time, because we legitimately are back. We're legitimately back for the first time in at least a little bit.
A week?
Yeah, since the last time we recorded.
Yeah. Today, we are going to talk about some pretty exciting things, I guess. I really have no idea. Honestly, Millzy put together this list, and I'll be very excited.
I really like this format, because we get better genuine reactions from you. Like, when you know what we're talking about beforehand, I feel like you just try to make me mad sometimes. Or you give me all the spicy takes.
Yeah.
Whereas when I just, surprise you with things, I get more genuine takes from you, which I really enjoy.
Hey, that's what you gotta do. You give me you want the quick answer, that you're gonna get the quick answer. If you hear some shuffling in the background, it's not me. It's also not Millzy.
Sorry, it's my windbreaker.
Oh, it's your windbreaker. Does it say Supreme on the side?
No, it's actually strictly and only mid-2000s deathcore windbreakers, Sort of the only good ones.
It's not one of those 1990s, old-looking cup style, that looks like a cup?
Yeah, but only if it has, a really outdated sports logo on it from a team that you grew up watching.
Yes.
And only if the colors are way too bright for their own good.
Yes, the Washington Redskins.
Can't
say that.
I'm referring to specifically a blue and yellow Sabres jacket I had from that era. That was just obnoxiously blue and yellow.
I'm so sorry that you watched the Sabres.
Hey, you know what? Hasek did pretty well for the time he was there.
I actually don't mind watching the Sabres. It's fine. But you know what I do enjoy watching?
No, boy. Here we go. No.
You thought of it. I enjoy looking across the way and seeing a guest with us.
Although you say you were enjoying washing down Rogue Energy. You can go over to rogueenergy.com. Use code HOMETOWN.
I was going to let you do it.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not going to do it. Oh my gosh, what are we doing right now? This is great. I have a guest across the way from me, and I'm pretty excited to have this one on tonight because he is a newer player. He definitely does not have an addiction at all. He is supporting
his local game store.
Local game stores. If you are not supporting your local game stores, what are you doing? I don't support a local game store. I support a local comic book store that just happens to sell magic. Same thing, right?
There's been a lot of texts in our group chat that have honestly made me laugh. But I don't think that any text more made me laugh than, guys, I don't have a problem. I'm just supporting my local game store. And I was like, oh, you hit it right on the head. That's exactly how it works.
We have Josh with us tonight. Josh, say hello to everybody.
Hey, guys. It's nice to see you. Excited to be here.
Josh we've recorded a few times with Josh. We have not edited or published a few times with
We'll get into
Josh.
that in a little bit.
Well, I was just saying, he's comfortable around us. He's not a total stranger or anything. He kind of is. I still don't know how big
Josh,
his big toe
I told
is,
you the day in a text message, I think you're one of the players that honestly picked up the game pretty fast compared to a lot of the guys that we've had come into our little group. Yeah. That's not to say that that picking up the game slowly is a bad thing.
Everybody else listening, you all suck. No, I'm kidding.
I was just impressed at, generally I think with a new player, how well you track how they're understanding the game is the questions they ask.
Yeah.
And I think some of the questions you asked me, especially fairly quickly, I was like, yeah, your brain's going in the right direction. You're getting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. when I jump into something new, I don't just stick my toe in. I like jump all the way in, which is why I don't have an addiction, like I told you. It's
he definitely skinny dipped into this one for sure. Like there's
full cannonball.
Like he's selling his shirt and pants to go buy more cardboard to go learn about this cardboard game that we play with cardboard.
100%.
Yeah.
Like think of the cardboard we could have bought. Like, you know, like,
I didn't understand that joke earlier, and I was just like, okay. And then I got it later, and I was like, there it is.
I believe what I said was, think about the cardboard we could have gambled with. I mean, bought.
Yes. So, yes, we have Josh with us today. We're going to be going through some crazy topics. Probably not, actually. They're probably pretty standard. But we don't play standard. We play Commander. So, Millzy, what we got going on with you?
Well, I think since we have a guest, you know, we should probably talk to our guest for a little bit before we get into all the not-so-fun topics, you know, the back cleanup back end. So, Josh, we've had a couple other new players on the podcast, especially a while back. Feels like forever ago now.
It does.
In the pre-YouTube era, I feel like that's gonna be a thing in the future. The change over to YouTube. But the question that I asked them that I think will be fun to ask you is how did Mikey and I do as teachers for you in the game? Did you feel like you understood it? Did we do a good job at shepherding you in, or?
So this is gonna sound really weird, but you guys remind me a lot of my parents.
Wait,
Zach
who's mom? Who's the dad?
Zach is the dad.
Wow, damn.
Who kind of punishes you and tells you, "Look, I'm gonna beat you down and show you the way to show you physically the way to play the game." Right?
Wow.
So Zach just plays really punishing decks, which I mean, at the time that you're getting beat, it's probably not that fun. But looking back at it later, you're like, "Oh, it was really cool to be able to see a combo like that you didn't, as a new player, you wouldn't have expected to go off the way that it did." And then Michael is like the mom. He's very forgiving. He's nice. He's kind. When I play with him in a two-headed giant game and he tells me, "This is the card we're playing, right?" And I say yes, and then I play a different card, he doesn't get mad. He just goes, "Okay, that's the card we're playing." So, you guys are mom and dad. You're magic mommy and daddy.
Well, Paul, we made it.
I've never been called daddy before.
Oh no!
Especially in this kind of context, but I'm okay with it.
Hey, get used to it.
I do need to get used to it. As my wife is with child, but
oh my gosh, that's so funny. I love that.
Honestly, like, we've asked a few of the people that question. I have not got that good of a response.
No, that was great.
I normally have a quick follow-up question, but I don't. Mikey, do you have a follow-up question?
Sure, yeah. So playing the game, what made you learn faster? Was it playing a two-headed giant where you had a partner to kind of bounce off of, or where did you feel personally? And everybody's different, obviously, but did you feel personally like you felt like you were learning more when you were by yourself in the trenches against everybody else?
I feel like the quickest way to learn something, like to learn not to mess with somebody, as an example, right, is to get punched in the face. So getting punched in the face by Zach's Emoti deck is probably the best way to learn how to play the game properly.
He's not wrong, like deck's gross.
I do enjoy playing something like Two-Headed Giant, having someone be able to bounce their ideas off of me and everything, but me wanting to be a brewer and build my own decks and do stuff like that, being able to see the way that Zach builds his decks has given me a lot of inspiration and made me realize, like, oh, wow, this is like going infinite is a thing. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I feel like playing on my own against players like Zach is what's helped me grow and learn the quickest.
Nice.
That's the first time anyone's mentioned that as a good thing and not a bad thing. So I want to make sure that's duly noted. I mean, of course, I've gushed plenty of times about my love for brewing, and I think it's
ABB.
what makes... Yeah, ABB, baby, always be brewing. It's what makes the game more fun to me, because you get to learn practically whether you're understanding the game well or not.
Oh, yeah.
You take a pile of cards, and you're like, this is going to be great. And then you get pummeled, and you're like, what the heck happened? You know what I mean? Yeah. You look at your hand, you look at the cards, you go, what am I missing? Like we were talking a little bit before we recorded about my joke for all Gruul's decks is you just start with like a pile of massive creatures, and you start with a pile of mana dorks, and then you just start moving the number of creatures around in between those and those like mid-range creatures until you have some sort of weird ratio that works for you and your deck. Yeah. Like, it's so tough sometimes brewing, because you look at sites like EDH Rec, and of course there's so many deck building websites where you can find people's lists, And lists are great, right? Lists give us ideas and they give us understanding of the way decks work. But the problem is, Josh, even if I handed you one of my decks, I can't guarantee you would play it the same way I would.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And also, you got to remember that my decks are built for my playstyle. They're not built to be the best X deck that you're going to see online. It's built to fit my playstyle. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I find the most interesting is when... we see games like the other night where you dumped out a World Slayer without realizing what the end goal was going to be, and then no one could defend themselves. And I went, "Yeah, okay, you figured it out." Like, you know what I mean? I was just like, "Wow!" It's just one of those things where like I love seeing when you guys that are newer to the game bring these combos to the table, and I'm like, "Didn't know you even knew about that. That's great." Like,
In my defense, I had to World Slayer because I went from 96 life down to 16 in one turn around the table. So,
well, yeah, that'll do it.
I'm not saying that's not fair. Well, I feel like I probably know the answer to this question, but I always find that people's favorite colors can sometimes adapt or change over time. So at the moment, with you being, just a few months into the games, what color or colors are you kind of gravitating the most towards?
So I really thought at the beginning that I was like hardcore red or black or both. And I am not at all. I don't like playing either one of those colors. Blue is kind of cool, but I like green and white a lot. So white is my favorite right now. I've got 3 monocolor white decks, and only one of them I've done a decent amount of testing on. I've got another one that I just finished building out. It's my first true try at building a Voltron deck that I'm excited to test out and see how that goes. But white really seems like it's it.
So look at this. We got a full true Naya pod right here. We have a green player, a red player, and a white player.
Yay, Naya! Hey, I've already said it once. I think white is still, in my opinion, the best support color in all of dual colors. I think that it just really, really does give. Now, that's not to say it's not the best to add to a color. It's the best color combination.
No, it does support every combination really well.
No, but I think, yes, if you add white to any monocolor, I think it just makes it 40 times better. Now, if you add blue to any of the color combination, I don't think it makes 40 times better. I do think that...
Depending on the color.
If we're talking green, then that's the best color, dual color combination. The Civic is the best dual combination. But anyways, all that to say, I think white still is, the best support.
I think, for me, I definitely started as a green player, and I still consider myself to be a green player because whenever I see new green commanders, it's like, ooh, I want to build that. You know what I mean? But I definitely say that I've pushed myself more towards probably more towards green blue or green white, and then that kind of white and blue side of green rather than the red side of green, like I probably started. And it's just because the play lines are just different and they're more fun. I think when I first started in the game, I wanted the more basic low to the ground tribal decks, whereas now I want to play around with some different strategies and try things out.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, man. Any other questions for him? I don't have any because I feel like a dummy.
Because I feel like a dummy.
I didn't have iOS 16. I didn't even know it was a thing. I'm a dummy.
I actually really honestly I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I could throw out some more half conceited questions about how good I am. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Oh, I got one. It's one that I think we've asked everybody.
Good.
Maybe. I can't remember that long ago.
If not, we can pretend that we did.
Cool. Yeah, right. No one will know anyway. Those episodes are gone. No, I'm kidding. Lost to the East.
Some of them are kind of gone, but that's not the
point. What kind of commander would you want in the future, to be released?
Ooh, I like that question.
That's a good one. So another thing that I've started messing with and slowly building up. I'm at 100 cards in the deck right now, but I definitely don't feel like it's where I want it to be. So I'm going to continue messing with it before I try to actually start buying cards. I've got probably 50% of the cards that are in there right now. But I want an Enchantress deck really bad, but the color combo that I want it in just is not very well supported at all. I want a green, black, white, and Abzan Enchantress commander. I feel like Miracle does kind of a good job at it, but it's creatures turn into enchantments and not just straight up Enchantress. So I feel like Miracle is kind of cool. He's what I'm building around right now, but
It's definitely the best we've gotten for now. I think the big problem is your Enchantress colors are white, blue, and green, right?
Yep.
And so,
Banty-bant.
especially green more than anything else. So, yeah, I mean, I think the support will come. Like, you know, we saw Tatsunari this year, who was a Sultai Enchantress deck.
Yeah.
So there's definitely more space for
that.
sure.
I love that card.
You know, we had a lot of fun brewing Merkle because it was a great mix of Enchantress and Aristocrats, and I think you don't necessarily always get that combination. A lot of times when you're playing with Aristocrats and Abzin, you move more towards life gain than anything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I like that there's another route to go about it that's not just Aristocrats deck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too because like if you look at the Abzin commanders of old, and even most of them now, I mean, they all revolve around one thing. That's putting +1/+1 counters on or some kind of counters on something.
Yeah.
And it can be kind of annoying if like you're like a color combination that you see all these different cards in, and you're like, oh man, I would love to play all these in one deck, and it's like, who the hell is my commander when that strategy that commander is presenting is not what I want to do.
The one thing I've always wanted is a good Abzin Angel commander. Because I think Abzin is the literal perfect color combination for Angels.
Yeah.
Because you have access to all of the life gain payoffs. You have access to the single best removal in Commander in those three colors. And you would pretty much be able to keep yourself alive ad nauseum.
Yeah.
And we just have yet to find an actual commander. Cards like Nethroi can keep you afloat. They do a good enough job.
Yeah.
You know, there are partner pairs that do a good enough job.
Yeah.
But I want, and then I don't mean it has to be a gold-colored angel that, like, triumphantly, you know, is the leader of this deck.
It would be cool, but no.
But I would just love to see some sort of either Abzin Cleric commander or some sort of Abzin creature that pays off enough of the life gain that the Angels care about while still kind of supporting that tribe. Because all your Angels are primary in white anyway. And in fact, most of the black-white ones are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Some pretty cool stuff. I mean, you only have one green-white Angel in Sigarda, right? I mean, there aren't really many other ones. So, and Shalai, but there aren't really many other ones. So you're not really leaning on the Selesnya for that. You're leaning on the Selesnya for the other added bonuses. Abzin Life Gain is a deck archetype I've been trying to make work for such a long time. I just feel like it's making a medium tier commander work for how I need it, and not making like that commander that I want.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about this for a while since, like, when I started playing, when we both started playing, we started playing in the Tarkir era, which is when we really first started seeing the three color combinations of like Abzin and Temur and Sultai, Jeskai, and Mardu, and you know, for me, like as a person who loves Temur, I mean, your options are pretty vast, but it's like, okay, I want to play this certain type of deck, and it's like, okay, I play Sirach, okay, cool, moving on. And it's like, oh, I want to play an Abzin type of deck, and it's like, okay, I play Inoffensive because like she's cheap, I can easily do something with her and moving on. It's kind of annoying because, you know, you see a deck like, or not decks, but you see a color combination like Sultai or even Jeskai, and Jeskai obviously has its way of doing things. You play non-creature spells, you do the dude thing in America.
I think Sultai is a perfect example because it's busted wide open.
Exactly, that's what
now,
I was
yes,
to. Yeah.
most of them will gravitate towards the graveyard, kind of like Jeskai will gravitate towards spell slinging.
Yeah.
But the difference is that Sultai just has way more options. You have classic stuff like Tassiger. You have more new age stuff like Muldrotha and Yurok and these different commanders that just do different things.
You can play Morph, you can play Landfall, you can play just inland Muldrotha.
Play Frog
Graveyard.
Boy.
You can play Frog Boy enchantments. Like there's just so many things. You can play Gates with Sultai.
So I put kind of a meme comment on someone's. I was watching one of the guys I watch on YouTube did an update in the last few weeks on his Muldrotha deck, and he said that Sultai was the best 3-color combination in Commander, and I said, in the matter of available cards, yes. I still think that Temur's darn close. It's just such a good color combination.
I think even Band has a good
the problem is just what Sultai has access to is gross. Like it's just such a gross 3-color combination. And for a long time I was like, oh, I'm never going to build one of those decks. And then I built 3 of them, and I was like, this color combination is a cardable.
You want to play Hydras? Play Sultai.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I messed around with Sultai Mutate with Otrimi, and that was a really fun
that's
deck.
so much fun.
I have the Zaxara X Spell, which is more of a combo deck than anything else, and it's a ton of fun. Your Rock Landfall. Muldrotha's a really fun graveyard deck, and that style. And that's only the top 4.
Heck, you can even play a classic like Mimeoplasm.
Yep, you got Tasigur, you got so many of these, I think, does Sidisi have a
Sidisi?
something? Yeah. So, you have so many options as far as Sultai goes, and it seems like they're not slowing down.
That's zombies. You can play Sidisi zombies still. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's get off that soapbox for a minute, because I could go forever on those color combinations. The fact that I spat all 5 of them out like it was nothing.
Oh, that was
very
good.
impressive.
Josh, do you have questions for us? And this is an odd platform for us to facilitate that. But I only ask it because
it's different.
A lot of the times we as experienced players think about the game a certain way, and I think I forget that, like, I know certain things or I see things a certain way.
Yeah.
And then you guys ask me questions and I go, oh yeah, like I didn't even think about that. Like,
I don't know. Usually most of my questions are very pointed, like, hey, I'm doing this one thing, I want to do this thing with my deck. Like the question I asked, I think it was earlier today, when I asked if you can sacrifice indestructible creatures. That's generally my only questions. I can't think of anything for the podcast setting.
I think my favorite part about our chat
applicable.
has
It
been...
can even be just like a random kind of like what I asked or
I
something.
think my favorite part about our chat has been when you newer players ask me questions and I go, why do you want to know that? Like,
Yeah.
My favorite was Brian's, can I play wastes in a deck that's colored? And I was like, I think you can, but I'm really intrigued to know why.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, shoot, I can't
listen,
think of anything.
It's cool if you don't. I mean, we didn't tell you beforehand, so I can't expect
Don't
you
worry about it.
I can't expect you to have some sort of profound question for us that makes the listeners like us more than... All right, well, we'll just start rocking through my my topics here. The first thing I wanted to talk about, because, we talked about this, Mikey, in a podcast episode about a month ago, and we have made some strides over the last few weeks on this, and I wanted to update our podcast listeners, those of them that actually will get this far and hear this, about the updates for the channel. So, we've talked a couple times that gameplay's coming, and in the last week...
It's getting there.
We've made the most progress on this that we've made so far.
Yes, we definitely have. We hired.
I mean, I think we've added the third man into our team. Our buddy Hayden has agreed to come on and help us.
Show us how to edit good.
Not only show us how, but, agreed to help us take the gameplay and make it better.
Yeah.
And we're only little steps into the process, and it looks leagues better than what it was.
I mean, it looks like it's giant steps from what we were.
It looks actually professional compared to us just, slapping a camera up on my dining room table and playing Magic, which is fun for all of us, don't get me wrong, but I'm genuinely excited to see what that looks like. We have committed to the first video that's going to be released. We're just in the editing process.
Yeah.
Which is going to take a little bit because we want to do it right, but then once we do it right, we should be getting into more consistent releases.
Doing it right, everybody will be dancing and be doing it right.
Oh, God.
Sorry, Daft Punk, gotta love it. All right, yeah, I'm super excited for where that's going, though, because, I mean, like, you have a bunch of ideas that you're bringing to the table, and I think a lot of people are going to be excited to watch that and to enjoy that and to just relish in that.
I think it's a fun coincidence that this gentleman's here with us today, because he is going to be featured in the first gameplay episode that comes out.
Yeah, okay, so that's why you were saying, shut up, Mikey, like, I will talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, like, well... I'm not going to give away what game, because I don't want us to say anything about the game.
Sorry about that.
But we, of course, they're going to be feeding that pipeline really soon. And I think to say on the podcast, the thing that I was the most excited about was that we brought someone into our team that was as excited to do it as we are.
Yes, for sure.
That's a giant thing, because we have had a lot of passion. We, I think, just have not necessarily always put it in the right spots, and I think we have a new fresh piece of energy helping us put it in the right spot, and I'm hoping that it pushes us in the right direction.
Well, I mean, like, for me personally, I can't put my passion. What the heck am I saying? Put
Your
my
passion.
My passion. Passion for fashion. No, my passion into, like, editing videos like I used to when I was, like, 21 years old, because, like, that's what I, like, was doing and what I wanted to do. It's like, now it's like, I don't want to do that, because that's a pain in the butt for me. So it's that's a struggle there, because I know it needs to be done for the channel to, continue to push forward and whatnot. And now somebody is willing enough to step in and do that for us and is happy to do that for us. Like,
Yeah, I think the big thing for me wasn't that he was willing to edit for us, because that's a service thing that we could have found at some point if we needed it. The thing was that we have someone who's committed to the same goal as us.
Yes.
And that's giant. I think that's what makes a lot of the difference, to me at least.
got that, Josh?
100% giant. It's like a colossification, right?
Yes, it's exactly like classification.
Yeah, 20 plus 20, creature, tap, call it good.
So we don't really do set reviews on this channel because at the end of the day, we all actually hate set reviews. Like, don't get me wrong, set reviews are cool to a certain degree, but then once you watch one set review, you've watched every set review.
I was about to say, everybody can talk about a pancake, and it's basically
And I listened to a couple of podcasts that do it in their own way, but to copy them just feels like I'd be copying them.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to do that because, again, at the end of the day, you're not listening to our podcast because you want to hear what we think about a random blue common from Dominaria United.
Unless it stuck out just enough for us to go, wow, that needs to be in every book.
Unless it's Talarian Geyser. Let me tell you why this is the tech card you need to pick up. He's
about to go in on that one.
The best word is I actually knew it off the top of my head. That was the good one.
That was good.
Anyway, so what I wanted to talk about with Dominaria United was what let's go around. Give me maybe the top 1 or 2 cards you were most excited to either slot into a deck you already have or brew around.
Am I going
So
first?
it's only fair that I start because I'm throwing this on you.
How dare you?
So the first thing I saw that got me really excited was actually a pair of green creatures. The first being Defiler of Vigor, and the second being Ape Daddy, aka Silverback Elder. I think that's its name.
Yes.
I will always welcome new green creatures, especially when I can get them down to just green pips to pay for in Goreclaw. So I was very happy for that. But the thing for me was I had another green heavy deck in Volo that's been sitting around for a while that I've been steadily trying to come back to the table, and both of those I think fit what that deck's trying to do very well. 100%. As well as I think at least one of them goes into a Modi for what it's trying to accomplish. So I was really excited to just fit them into the decks I already had, and I definitely went through that kind of like, can I force this into this deck? Does this actually work if I put it in there? The answer for most of the decks was no, and that's perfectly fine. I joked when the card got when it got released. I said, if that thing was an 8 elemental, I could break that thing more ways to Sunday than I could now.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad it's not.
But the main commander that I'm excited to play around with in Dominaria United, and there's a few that I'm kind of excited about, but the 2 main ones I'm excited for are Solo Wind Grace.
Yeah.
Just because I've been trying to play around with this Jund Landfall deck, and I'm still flopping back and forth between Lord Wind Grace and Solo Wind Grace. I see the benefits of both of them, and I played the deck a couple times in some smaller games, and I like Solo Wind Grace, but I still just find myself flip-flopping back and forth. I think they're both great. I just got to figure out what the heck it is I want from that deck. And the second is, because my track record with 5-color decks has gone so well in the past, I'm excited, and this will actually be, by the time this episode is out, this video will be recorded and up on our channel. I'm going to be brewing 5-color Joda humans, and I'm kind of excited. I have my Kyler humans deck that I really enjoy. It's kind of a Selesnya, go wide, beat 'em up deck, and it's a ton of fun. But there's a lot of humans, especially like Kethis and Kimball and some of those cards that are a ton of fun. They just don't really fit in the colors that I want to play humans in, whereas I think in Joda, you can make a lot of them really good. Also, I've been trying to this day to put Halan and Elena in a deck that doesn't force itself into Halan and Elena, and I feel like that's just going to be the shell for it, so I'm really excited.
Nice, man. I feel like you have a lot. No.
No, I never have anything going on.
No, so for me, I think, first off, New Karn. Beautiful. Look at that man. But beside the point, I don't know where I'd put him, honestly. I just think New Karn's cool. I do like New Braids. I want to figure out where to put her. I don't think I'd put her at the helm, personally. I'm not saying that she's not good there. I don't know how I would build that personally as of right now. I got too many things on the mind to do that. I want to build around. We've already seen me build around Jasmine.
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 Jasmine, yes. And I get super excited. Oh look, thank you so much. Okay, right there. Look upon me with your graces. But no, I like both of them. But one commander I'm actually really excited about to kind of like take over one of my decks is that good old 5-colored gates. Let me tell you, boy, got this 5-color support in this stinking set. Let me tell you. But I was trying to figure out which Carthelian I wanted to use, and I went with Jansen because I think one, he's just A, cheaper, which I always love cheaper commanders. B, he's not a complete scrub like his brother.
Seems decent.
Seems pretty decent. And there's just so much 5-color support in this set, and from other sets as well, and to the point where like, I mean, now I have a reason to play Child of Alara without just being like I'm playing Child of Alara.
I think the really good thing that Jensen does that other 5-color commanders that we've seen in the last couple of years have done, and this reminds me of like Go Shintai for the Shrines deck, is the commander doesn't come out for all 5 colors, which makes it a little bit easier to get out, especially if you're, for example, Jensen, right? He filters mana into Wooburg for you. Let's say you only have access to 3 of your 5 colors, and you're having a really tough time getting the other 2, but you have the green-white to get Jensen down. Well, now that commander kind of helps you. I feel the same way about like Oshintai in a lot of ways. It kind of helps you get started, since green is your most important color. Green and white are your most important colors for enchantments anyway in that list, right? So you're going to be factoring into there. I think that's when I first read Jensen for the first time, I was like, yeah, that's going to help a ton. It's going to allow you to get your commander out early, which helps. And then the best part is, when it comes to its ability, it's going to start compounding every turn after it comes down and getting you that good value.
Yep. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It makes me want to play a multicolored deck more. Granted, in Gates, obviously, I've been playing a lot of monocolored green of like rampy, go get lands, which is so funny because I keep on grandstanding that, if we don't have Search Library, it'd be better. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm really excited.
1 hour Spicy Takes episode's coming. No, I'm just kidding.
No. But yeah, that would be my hot takes from Dominaria.
I want to quickly add, because it actually just happened within the last 48 hours. I'm the kind of person that when I take a deck apart, I don't ever truly take a deck apart. I normally keep the list, and I come back, a set or two later, and I try to figure out what it was that I missed. What did I not see the right way? Did I miss a strategy? And the new Zur actually fixed a giant problem that I think Shrines had as a deck. In that it allowed you to give your enchantment tokens, those shrines, protection, as well as it allows you to kind of animate the other shrines, which I think is going to help a ton.
So, Shrines is coming back?
Yes, because that's what the whole table was excited to hear, is that Shrines is coming back. I mean, here's the honest question, though. I mean, at the end of the day, what are we really protecting? No, which would you rather play in, Shrines or Sithis? Because I think there's an obvious choice between those two.
I mean, yes, Shrines. It takes you a lot longer to get set up and blah, 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 blah. I mean, I don't mind either one. I like playing against both. I love that you picked the 2 that I've literally, played Torbrand into and did nothing but burn. Am I winning yet? Burn. Why am I not winning?
All right, Josh. You had plenty enough time to listen to us ramble.
Oh, that's fine.
So you should have had your choices picked by now.
Yeah, so right away, as soon as I saw New Joda, I was like, okay, that looks super cool. Super Friends looks awesome.
Yes.
But what I actually ended up doing was like a weird modified version of Dragon's Tribal with him as the commander.
Okay.
I've got that. A deck list fully built out for that I kind of like. I may have you guys look at it and see if you have any recommendations for it. But
you just slam it on the table.
Joda's the commander, and then I've got
about one thing about Joda.
Yeah,
Joda?
Not that it's a 5/5 for 5, which is decent already.
Oh yeah.
It's not that you basically cascade whenever you cast a legendary spell. Can we talk about the fact that he gives a flat +X, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control?
Oh yeah.
And how much of a problem that's going to be?
Oh, did I mention it's legendary Dragon Tribal?
Of course. You could put a lot of things into that.
Man, one trample enabler and...
I may or may not have one of those. But,
right.
Joda was the first one that I was super interested in, and I was like, right away, I was like, oh, Super Friends, but I think I want to try this Dragon almost tribal out. Can't really call it tribal because
Can we just
Joda
be happy
isn't
that
exactly
we have a Super Friends commander that isn't Atraxa now?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I doubt it. I still think more people will play Atraxa Super Friends than Joda.
Yeah.
But
How many months until Joda's number one?
how many months until number one overall on EDA Trek?
Yeah.
Ooh, bold claim.
I
Let's see.
want answers from both of you since you both are building it. You both scrub.
Oh, shoot.
Let me tell you what commanders I don't think it'll never pass. So that's where I think I can help determine. I don't think it'll ever pass Edgar Markov, and I don't think it'll ever pass Atraxa.
Dang.
There's a lot of... So, for the listener, I have the top 12 commanders pulled up here on EDH Rec. This, of course, is as of today, September 16th, when we're recording this. You know, life can change. Yes.
I feel like it will pass Edgar Markov because you can play Edgar Markov and Joda. Sorry.
That's a fair point. I think the thing I'm looking at is, does it become everyone's favorite 5-color commander? And I think the answer is yes, if you care at all about Legendary.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it will pass Kenrith.
Yeah.
Because most Kenrith decks, as long as they can benefit from Joda, it makes sense to switch to Joda.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think it'll pass the Ur Dragon?
No.
Yeah, because that Eminence ability.
Unfortunately, the Ur Dragon is still and will always continue to be the most popular dragon commander, even though I don't think it's the best. I'm actually impressed Lathrill's up there that high.
It's because of all the dumb elf support that has gone the past year.
I can see Joda hitting the top 10. I'm gonna go bold and say it won't hit the top 5.
I just realized that Willet is way up there. Prosper is way up there.
Well, it makes sense because they both Wilhelm kind of revolutionized that tribe and gave them an actually really good commander that wasn't just kind of a flavor fit. And then Prosper basically made a whole new strategy for itself.
Shout out to Wilhelm being built as one of the first head-to-heads.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. And I look at that list going back on it, and I go, I was kind of there, but I was not there.
Yeah, we're none of us.
I think the other problem with the top 10 and whether or not Joda will hit the top 10 is my only complaint with EDH Rec has always been that EDH Rec only gets its data from a certain amount of sources.
Yes.
And so if there are people out there who are using deck building resources that are not officially supported by EDH Rec will never see their data.
Right, yeah.
And so we also, of course, what Wizards always likes to say is we can't see the people who are just playing at home with their friends and don't ever put their decks online. Mm-hmm. So I think Joda will be up there. Top 15 for sure. Top 10 probably.
Scroll down just a little bit just to show myself. Look at that boy at 13.
Yeesh.
That dude is disgusting. Moving on. All right. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
I didn't want to
Okay,
That's
change
okay.
it.
That's
but-
again, I think we're going to talk plenty more about Dominaria United. We've got plenty of head-to-head brews to come up.
I mean, we're going to be on Dominaria for a while.
We're going to have a couple brews episodes by myself where I'm going to be brewing Dominaria United Commanders. This set is going to stick around for a while, and I actually think that, just like the original Dominaria, there are going to be commanders in this set that stick around for a while.
Oh, yeah.
The last Dominaria produced a lot of great legendary creatures. This one is going to do the same. I don't doubt that certain of these commanders are going to get more love as time goes on.
Yeah.
Especially the uncommon commanders. This is what happened last time with Dominaria, which was we got these uncommon commanders and people didn't look at them right away. And then over time, as more cards come out, people go back and go back. And so I definitely think that I think it's safe to say Joda will be the most popular commander from this set ad nauseum. That'll never change. I could see other commanders getting closer. Like Windgrace, for example. It'll be do people with old Windgrace lists move their lists over to Soul Windgrace? How does that work? Zur, do people with their old Zur lists consider changing them over? Although I think they work in two completely different spaces. Shieldred may be the thing that takes over maybe some Turgor decks or things like that, where people are afraid of using a commander that gets hated on, but change it to something else. I think Braids could do the exact same thing. Yes. Both of those commanders could do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But all right, so at the time of this recording, we have not seen every single card for 40K yet.
Oh, really?
So I don't want to talk. Well,
I thought they released
it's out there, but did both of you take a look at every single card that came out today? Okay, so I rest my point.
I looked at quite a few, but I definitely
I will rest my
did not look
point.
at all of them.
We have not seen all the cards.
I didn't look at any because I can't justify buying.
I don't want to talk about the individual cards yet because I actually want to do that for an episode because I think there's a lot of bangers in the stuff that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Freaking banger, dude.
Anyway, what I want to do is talk about what decks before anything was shown, what were we excited for?
Oh.
Has your opinion changed since you've seen some of the spoilers? So again, I'll start first. The deck I was most excited for was the Tyrannid Swarm, mainly because it's Teamer, and I love Teamer.
Teamer.
And my one Teamer deck gets hated off the table, so I'm still trying to find another Teamer deck to bring to the table and play. I love Mikey's face response.
No words.
Anyway, I do not like the face commander of the deck. I don't think it works well at all, but I think the secondary commander, the Teamer chick who's pointing, like, that card is super good, and that card is what I would build it, and I'm striving to at least test a Tyrannid deck. I'm not sure whether I'll buy the precon yet or not, because I still have a gut feeling they're going to be really expensive, and that people aren't really realizing that yet. But I will say, I was really excited for Abaddon, because that's the kind of commander that I really want. That's the kind of structure I really want. But I was really let down by the deck. Like, it's more demon tribal than anything else. And I get it, the demons fit the chaos stuff and all that. But what was sad to me was, I can't remember the creature's name. It's the blue-red legend.
Oh yeah.
Magnus the Red is literally my favorite card I've seen so far from this release, because it literally goes into any spell-slinging deck and makes it better, because most spell-slinging decks are going to be making token creatures anyway. Yeah. So to me it was like, I can find 3 decks for that thing already. If not even a deck for itself. I mean, it's a perfect commander for an Izzet spell-slinging deck. So I have to just say, I was equally let down by the Abaddon deck, but I was actually equally surprised by the Tyrannid deck for as good as the deck is, and I think once you add some good counter support to it, I think it'll be a really good deck.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I was also excited about the Tyrannid deck, and then I was also excited for the Esper style deck. Yeah. I don't know what is that one actually called?
The Inquisitor Greyfax.
Yeah. The Imperium Inquisitor, yeah. I was excited for both of those and kind of seeing what they would give us. When we saw the face commander for the Team Era deck, I was like, definitely not for me, dude. And then we saw the face commander for the Inquisitor deck, the Esper style deck, and I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. I've been looking to try to figure out how investigating would be kind of fun, and making clue tokens would be kind of fun. The issue that I'm finding is it still doesn't give you the best support in that, and it's like, okay, that's fine. So honestly, I'm not excited about any of them anymore. I'm just kind of here waiting for a good banger card to come out of it. So
I think for me, with the exception of Abaddon, the other 3 decks, their other commanders, their secondary commander is better than the face commander. Yeah. The only reason I can't call Be'lakor better than Abaddon is because I didn't know you wouldn't have known from the packaging. As a Magic player, I did not know from the packaging that demons were going to be an important thing. No, I mean, knowing that now, Bellacor's a great commander. Yes. But I think Abaddon's going to get broken. It's going to be rough.
Oh yeah, it's a great card.
It's not a. It's like it's literally like one step from Yidris, right? So it's almost there. But yeah, Josh, what do you think? What were your thoughts?
I also was kind of excited about the Esper. I thought that Inquisitor Greyfax was going to be really cool, because I thought the whole idea of investigating, creating clue tokens for card advantage, especially if you needed that late in game, like if you're sitting there having played your full handout and you're waiting on individual card draws to decide what you're doing for the next turn, can get kind of tedious and difficult to play out. So,
and of course, there's no way to untap creatures, No, none at all.
Yeah, but being able to tap to get that clue artifact so that you can draw, especially late game, I thought was going to be super cool, and I thought that it was really. I thought it was going to give a lot of unique support to investigating and everything, and it seemed like it was going to at first, and then when the cards were kind of released, I was like, yeah, but not really what I thought it was going to, So, I don't know. I think there's going to be some cool grabs out of that Tyrannid Swarm, but that's probably the only thing that I'm really looking at.
My biggest problem at the moment with these decks are I just have a gut feeling that these sealed decks are going to get very pricey.
Oh yeah, no, like you buy all 4 decks and then just hold on to them and then resell them like a pair of Nike shoes.
Like I remember when it first got announced, our buddy Steven, he played 40K in college and he's a pretty big fan, and I said, if you're going to buy the decks, keep them sealed, because they're going to hold value sealed. The singles, if they actually get opened, they're going to be a little more expensive than normal, because people are going to be buying these and not necessarily trading them in like you would when you buy a normal, booster set. But, like, I can only imagine what the cost analysis on those collector decks is going to go for over time.
I don't want to know.
Because you have to remember that there are so many 40K players who are going to buy that and put it on their shelf.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care about Magic. They're not going to play the game. They just want to put that on their shelf next to whatever, if they play any of these 4 armies or any of the sub-armies of these types. Because remember, we picked four
overarching
strategies or armies of people. We did not pick any of the subcategories of them, which are endless. So if someone has a Necron or a Tyranid army, then they're, even no matter what subclass they're gonna they want that on a shelf. Same thing with the other ones, right? I think, and they did a good job to pick. My understanding is they did a good job to pick the face commanders as those well recognized, big, kind of iconic characters for the 40K world.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know anything about that, although I'm willing to learn about it. I didn't know anything about it before this.
I considered for a little bit picking up all 4 collector boxes, and now I think last time I looked they were like $560 or something for all 4 of them. Because I know that those things are just going to skyrocket and grow exponentially.
I will give them credit for one thing. The Surge foil is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The foiling is beautiful. But the problem is they're going to hold their value sealed more than they are going to hold their value as individual cards. And
that's what I would have tried to sell them sealed.
It scares me what's going to happen if... one of the biggest problems about this Universe is Beyond thing, and at the time you're hearing this, the video will be out. Pleasant Kenobi, who's a big 40K fan and a Magic content creator as well, did a video this week about his fear that these cards are going to become kind of like a mini reserve list, because this is an exclusive content, right? This is exclusive IP that they're making for, right? And who knows if they're going to reprint them. Now, right, we did get the Stranger Things cards reprinted as Magic characters, but they cannot reprint all 4 of these decks as Magic characters, at least not easily. And his other big thing was, what do you do with the creature types? What do you do with the Astaris? What do you do with Necron? What do you do with Tyranid? These creature types that are in there exclusively for these decks.
Yeah.
What do you do with them when you go to reprint them? Are they allowed to use them? Does it make the same amount of sense when the 40K picture isn't, staple on the creature, or they have to change the name? So that's the part that kind of intrigues me is, are we going to get cards out of this subset that are really good cards and people are going to want for their decks, but they're going to skyrocket because no one's opening the decks, no one's getting the product out there. Yeah. And also that, but what if these decks all sell out and then you can't find them cheaply? I like the Tyranid deck. I'm not going to pay $100 for it.
Yeah.
No.
50 or 60, sure, I'd go for it, maybe, if I really wanted to build the deck, because this is the only way to get the cards. It's not like I can go pull them out of boosters or anything like that. Yeah, sure, I might buy it at 50 or 60, because remember, that's kind of our new range for precons now, is between that 40 to 60 range.
Yeah.
But at 100 for a standard, I'm not buying it.
I agree. My thing is, I guess, I don't know if our overlords of WotC have thought about this or not, but if they have, maybe they're thinking, the production for these will be as much as the production for a commander card that's not in a pre-con, but like viable to, okay, let's take Jasmine for instance, like the amount of Jasmines they made will be the same number as they've made for the Inquisitor or something like that. Maybe that's what they're thinking, maybe that's what their strategy was, but the issue that you've already just brought up is a lot of people will keep it sealed and they'll just be like, this is my Inquisitor, it's pretty, look at it, and that's it, that's as far as it'll go. And it's unfortunate for the Magic players and our community and whatnot. It's great for the Warhammer individuals, because they will get another piece to their collection. I mean, for me, if Magic, which they're not going to because Disney will say no, but if Magic ever did a Star Wars thing, like, I'd be all over it. and I would buy every single thing to it and keep it sealed up.
And I'm not mad that 40K players will buy these decks.
No,
and
me
keep them
neither.
sealed.
Me
In
neither.
fact, they should.
Yes.
I'm the kind of person that says you should collect how you want to collect,
Yes.
and if that's the way you want to collect, go for it.
Yeah.
I am not mad at any 40K player who buys this product and keeps it sealed. The problem is, I think at the end of the day, my anger is at WotC because I know they didn't print enough of them.
I hope I can say this, and the viewer and YouTube obviously won't care, like opinionated wise, but I think this is a reason that will make me want to proxy more.
Yes,
And,
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's not because like I'm not okay with buying any one of these cards as a single. Like, I mean, Abaddon will be $400 before we realize it because he's just gross. But I mean, that's beside the point. I just see more value in just having the card right in front of me right here and now rather than waiting for a fluctuated price to go up and down, up and down, up and down. We see this with Magic cards now, like before these even come out. So it's something like this that makes me go, I could get that because it comes into a precon and I could play the precon and enjoy it for, maybe 2-3. We actually, it was so funny. We had an idea to get one of each and play it on the channel. And now we're just sitting here going, maybe we won't even get. I'm sitting over here going, maybe I won't even get one at all because, I mean, is it worth it?
My approach
for me
at
as
this
a Magic
point
player.
is, I mean, I'll honestly test the Tyranid deck. Like, I'll make my changes to it, and I'll see if it's something I'd ever play.
Right.
But the question mark for me about whether I actually ever build the deck's going to be, what is the precon sitting at?
Mm-hmm.
Not only the other cards that I add to it that I either have in the staple binder or need to have, but what is the cost of the deck going to be when I get around to deciding if Magnus Luca Kane, the alternate commander for the deck, who I will probably build around, if I finally get the deck in 3 months to a place where I like it, because most decks that I brew take time to test and take time to make sure that your ratios are right and things like that.
Yeah. What's
the deck going to cost in 3 months when I finally decide, okay, I need the 50 new cards from the precon, or I need about 30 of the cards from the precon. What's the cost of the sealed deck?
Right.
And I don't want to jump the gun now, because yes, arguably you could say, well, why don't the opposite side of the coin is why don't you just buy the sealed deck and sit on it? Sure, okay. I guess that's a fair point.
But we're not going to
But
do
I don't
that
want
as
to do
Magic
that. I
players.
want to open up and play with it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to
exactly.
leave it sealed. So the exact problem is I don't know how to interact with this because every way I see there's a loser here.
Yeah.
And unfortunately I feel like it's most players who are the loser here.
Unfortunately, yeah.
It's not to say that it's not a cool product.
No, I think it's great.
Like this and the idea of them doing Doctor Who next year really excites me.
Yeah.
It's something that, especially as a Doctor Who fan, I'm like intrigued about. But the problem is, I'm really worried now about Doctor Who because, I mean, you could probably argue that the Doctor Who fan base is more numerous than the Warhammer 40K fan base. And now I doubt as many of those Doctor Who fans are going to buy a Magic yet because they probably have no idea what Magic the Gathering is. I feel like more 40K players know what Magic is because they go to local game shops.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you see them in the shop. They've seen Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and all these games around their shops because they go into the shops to play, right?
Yeah.
But I'm kind of intrigued as to why Wizards didn't do the collected boosters like they're going to do with Doctor Who.
Yeah.
If it's a way to get more of the cards out there, especially the face commanders or the new cards.
That needs to be a thing.
Because my assumption is, again, I'm going completely shot in the dark here on these. My guess is these Doctor Who collector boosters are going to be only the new cards in the whether it's extended frames or borderless or whatever. It's probably only going to be the new cards. It's not going to be the reprints. Well, if they did the same here, that's another place that you could potentially get those singles or the individual cards without buying the decks. Yeah. But anyway, again, this is our humble opinion. 3 weeks before release, we have no idea what's going to happen.
We still have 3 weeks before these come out.
Decks come out October 7th.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Take forever. What's next there, Millzy?
Well, actually, the next set to release is... No, I'm just kidding. No.
We know. The Brothers War and their pre-release kits came out, and everyone's going crazy about it.
The funny part, Mikey, is we actually have Infinity slated to come out October 7th as well.
Oh, wow.
But we have yet to see anything from that set. Believe me, Mikey, we will talk about that set.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm excited. There are going to be Commander legal cards that are going to be like,
We're just not there yet. And that's okay. I think Infinity is going to be a very intriguing thing. But just like last time, I prepared a couple of random topics, and I thought it'd be fun to
swing through them
a little bit. One of them we covered slightly, so I kind of want to bring this back up and talk about it. So I had the question: is have our favorite colors changed, and even slightly? So, for example, I talked about how premiering green, and I was a green player for such a long time. I feel like I've definitely been leaning more into white and blue, whereas before I definitely leaned into my second color as red. That's the way that I've kind of changed over my time playing the game. Mikey, how do you feel about that?
Dude, I'm a weird paint job right now. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've brewed probably more in blue, and it's not even like that's the main color of any of the decks that I've brewed in. Like, other than Yuriko, because, like, it just happens to be there, kind of thing. Then again, I've probably made like 4 Bant lists in the past like year, but that's beside the point. I keep on switching commanders. I'm like, this one will be fine. Oh, this one will be fine. No, but I think it's not that I like blue more or anything. It's just what I've been brewing around, I think. I mean, I'm still red at heart.
And I think just because you brew in a color combination doesn't make it your favorite.
Yeah.
To me, your favorite colors are the colors that you see yourself going back to over and over and over again as either the being included in a deck or being the basis for a deck. Because, Mikey, we've talked plenty of times about how 3-color deck building is different from 2-color deck building because most 3-color decks have to be centered in at least one color in order to make the decks function and the ratios to work. And so for me, I find when I'm making my 3-color decks with green, they're centered in green.
Yeah.
When I'm making those 3-color decks that are centered in white, most of the time they're centered in white. So that's why I'm saying those are the colors that I gravitate to. Now, of course, every deck's different. Of course, it depends on the commander. There are 3-color commanders like Jemir, although I'd say the deck's centered in green, it definitely isn't in some ways as well. You know what I mean? And there's plenty of decks like that.
Right. It's got white support like crazy.
You need the white support, right, for the token production and the combat, right? So the deck's a little bit different, but Josh, I know that you're still fairly new into the game, so you may not have the sample size of time to see how you've changed. But when I asked you earlier, what you thought your favorite color was, is that the through line you're still seeing? Are you still seeing that's what you gravitate toward when you're building?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the so on the app that I use for deck building and everything, I've got 17 decks built, not including the precons that I've bought and modified, and the color combination that shows up the most is not even a combination; it's just mono white. 5 mono white decks that I have built out, and then most of the others are just individual. That color combo shows up once, except for. Oh gosh, I can't even think of her name. Proliferate. Atraxa. I've got 2 Atraxa decks, but
good old Atraxa.
Yeah. It's just white right now seems like it's sticking real hard. I might with we were talking about Enchantress earlier around Miracle. I want to try messing with Zur, and see if I like Esper, because I haven't really dabbled in blue hardly at all. So
the weird part about Zur is that it's not going to be a terribly blue deck. It's really going to be probably a
white.
Oh yeah,
a pretty Orzhov deck with blue splashed in with what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
Zur seems like a ton of fun. The problem is I have so many Enchantress decks already. It's tough to push other ones to the side for Zur to be the thing. Yeah. But Zur fits literally perfectly into a deck like Layla that I've been in the final stages of testing. And it fits perfectly into Shrines. And so it was like, okay, it can go in those 2 places and it's going to do really well. Whereas I don't think that I have the bandwidth to make its own deck for it.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But I'm sure there's commanders that you guys look at that the same way. You see a new 2-color commander and I go, I need to build a deck around that. And you're like, I could probably just slot it into this deck and it'd probably work.
Yeah.
It all depends on your decks, right? It depends on your play style. And so that's what I like about having a play group as big as ours is we all are brewing different things. We're all looking at different things. When a new set comes out, I see all of us reacting the same way I react to those cards to different things. We're not all reacting to the same things. We might all make jokes about that command that we see and go, oh, there we go. You know what I mean? But we're all genuinely interested in different commanders. I think that's what makes our playgroup fun is that we're all interested in different playstyles and different colors as opposed to just all being the mono blue gamer who wants to counter the entire table out. You know what I mean?
I think a good example of that, like you were just saying, is we both have Gruul Dragon Tribal decks, And you've told me time and time again that you just like, not Corvold, what's his name? Clouth. You love Clouth. He's 100% going to be the commander all the time. And I'm like, Clouth is super cool, and I'd put him in the deck. But the way that I want to play and do it is just not the same,
Yeah, I think that's what makes strategies more fun, is that there isn't always a definite answer. Yeah. For some there are. It's just the way certain archetypes are built. Yeah. But that's more tribes. But that's more tribes than it is archetypes, right?
Yeah.
Like if you told me I want to build an Enchantress deck, it depends on what colors you're playing. And even those, then you have your options.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
if you told me, hey, I want to go build a Vampires deck, that list is a lot shorter, and people are going to assume that you're going to pick certain commanders over others.
Oh, yeah.
I'm choosing...
I've always found dragons to be the interesting tribe because so many people... I want to use a particular phrase, but I won't for the sake of language. But so many people go so heavy into the Ur-Dragon. I understand why people pick the Ur-Dragon. But I think you lose a lot of the speed and synergy with dragons when you go 5-color. And a lot of 3-color dragon decks just do better, especially most of the 2-color dragon decks. Like, even Monarch Dragons isn't half bad, but the Gruul Dragons lists, or we've seen Izzet's Dragons get some support, and then you go into 3 colors, and we've seen almost a decent dragon commander in 6 out of the 10 3-color combinations, and there's probably some in the other 4 that you could make work and probably make a half decent dragon list. I'm just loving how many tribes have gotten new really cool commanders, like our last time to Innistrad, we got Wilhelm, we got Kyler and Lenore, we got a couple new vampire commanders, we got Tovalar, right? Probably our de facto best werewolf commander,
come
right?
on.
So I just find it really. I'm happy that we're making that list of commanders you should play for X archetype longer. It's not just you need to play this one.
The other day when I said we need a more whale support, I would love to build a whale tribal deck.
We just need more Watson,
or
print more whale support.
We can get more Atogs. That's another one.
Atogs are an interesting try.
They are, because it's the way the cards are worded, and every single Atog card, you would think there's 80 Atogs out there. There's 6.
Yeah.
I've got a really fun question, and I'm not even honestly sure how to answer it. So
right.
I'm kind of intrigued to see how you guys answer this question, because not that I'm going to steal your answer, but I'm just not sure how to word it.
You are. It's okay.
And that's what keeps us innovating as brewers.
You mean looking at EHREC right now and trying to figure out what my next
Aura's
heroic deck is?
Other than the DoorDash effect of going onto EDHREC, what keeps us wanting to brew? What's the thing for you that keeps you going back to the well, so to speak?
My biggest one, since I'm a new player, it's really easy for me to decide what I want to brew around and everything, or what's keeping me brewing. Mine is I've built 17 decks, like I told you, and being a new player and just kind of slapping some stuff together and playing, I realized that I in almost all of my decks, I do not have a clear win con.
Yeah, I've done that so many times.
And so
win cons are tough.
Really looking at how to build around a win con, and then figuring out different combos and seeing if I put these 5 cards in my deck, there's a potential to win by turn 6, right? And so starting to find ways to build a better win con is kind of my thing right now, because I definitely when I World Slayered, I had no idea what I was going to do next, because that Angels deck does not have a very good win con other than maybe commander damage with Avacyn.
Yeah.
So
I think the big problem to me with win cons is a lot of people think, I'm going to put this one card in my deck and this is my win con, and I just got to see it. And the problem is, you're not always going to see it. Sure, you might find the games where you find the tutor or you find the draw spells and you get to it, and yay. What happens on the games where you go 25 cards deep and don't see anything?
Yeah.
How does your deck consistently get yourself towards your win con? And I think what's helped that problem, a lot of modern commanders are the win cons. They're the catalyst. They're the engine that pushes the deck along, as opposed to we see commanders. I think these days there are two different types. They're the engine that makes the deck run, or they're the payoff for what your strategy is trying to do, and it's one or the other. And it's kind of interesting because you build the decks completely differently, right? When your commander's the engine, you get it out as soon as you can, and you start grinding value. When your commander's the payoff, you spend a little bit longer setting up before your commander comes out, right? And I just find that kind of interesting when you get into some more muddy deck concepts where you don't necessarily have a clear A to B, this is how I win the game.
Yeah.
You're just trying to do one strategy.
And I think that's where you grow a lot as a brewer, is when you sit down and, when I'm building decks, my first thought is, how am I looking to win the game?
Yeah.
Because you need to figure that out right away, because it's going to determine what cards you put in. And a lot of times I find myself asking, does this card help me in my strategy? And if it doesn't, why am I playing it? Like, is it just
it looks cool?
if it's a good card, or it draws cards, or it sets up good value, okay, yes, then it deserves to be in the deck. But if it just looks cool, but it really isn't going to affect the game, sometimes you have to ask yourself the question: is it worth playing?
Yeah.
Which isn't always a fun question to ask, right? Because there's times where we want to play that cool 6-mana creature from Theros, so that I want to put in this deck and I just can't find a place for it,
Doomwake Giants.
Or I really want to play that random 4-mana blue sorcery from X set that I just have yet to find a deck for. Like, we all have those bucket lists, those cards that we're still trying to jam in decks, and we want to find that shell that card can go into.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, at the end of the day, if you want your deck to be consistent, you have to remember that at the end of the day, you have to find your win con, and you have to win the game to win the game.
I was gonna be that guy. I'm just be like, but it is Commander, so I mean, like, you can just build it however the heck you want to, and still have fun with it if that's what you want to do as well. I mean,
because ladies looking left is the deck, man. It is the deck type.
But we all
and all deck types.
We all have staple cards that we gravitate towards. Like, I mean, I have a bunch of 1-mana red spells that I want to add every time I have red in some kind of form, and it's like, I can't add Monastery Swift Spear to every single freaking deck, okay? Yeah. I want to, but
you can, but...
or I can't add Lightning Bolt to everyone. I mean, I should, but, anyways, my favorite, though, I always want to try to add, or I'm trying to literally build around a creature rather than build around a commander. Like, right now, a Crowing Crusader, it's like, how do I build around this creature?
Yeah.
And it's tough. I mean, I think the thing that keeps me innovating as a brewer is trying to challenge myself with things I wouldn't normally build, pushing myself to make decks I wouldn't normally play, to force myself to see a deck a different way, or see a strategy a different way, or changing up the color combination from that strategy. Moving to a different 3-color combination, or moving up to 4 colors, down to 2 colors, or you know what I mean. You can learn a lot when you start messing around with even what commanders you have access to.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Commander. We hate it.
We love. And hey.
Yeah. I hate it. No.
Back to the talking about trying to just slot cards that you think are like bucket list cards or whatever. I think that's how you said it was. When the first deck that I kind of put together on my own with no help at all when I first started playing was my Devoid Ulamog deck with no colors. Because I was like, ooh, Eldrazi, this giant thing that exists in between
it's a thing,
planes.
Right?
Like, that sounds awesome, right? And now in every one of my decks,
it's a thing.
Yeah, in every one of my decks, I want to put all of the Shuffle Titans, right?
Yeah,
Emrakul and Kozilek and everything. But is there really a place for a Shuffle Titan Eldrazi in every deck?
Yes.
What's interesting is they really get used in if you played in a playgroup that had a lot of mill decks, they're very useful.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think that other than me playing Ulamog, I don't know that there's anyone that mass removes stuff from libraries.
We haven't played what's the blue card that I keep on forgetting on?
Tasha City's Laughter.
Well, that one and the one the Traumatize.
Yeah, we got Mandy Coffee. I still have the Horrors deck together, but it's not the deck that I'm like, I want to play this deck today. You know what I mean? That's my problem is I love the look of it. It has creatures in the deck that I've wanted to play for such a long time. But the problem is Dimir's not a color combination that I'm like, I want to play Dimir tonight. This is the deck that I want to play.
I
You
do
know?
that when I look at Yuriko.
Because my problem is I would much rather play Esper or Sultai with it than just play it on its own.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I have decks in both those 3 color combinations that scratch that Dimir itch for me because I add colors in that I like with them.
Yeah, I know.
You know, in Esper, I'm adding white, which allows me to go down one path, and with Sultai, you're adding green, and that allows me to go to another path. And I just prefer those more than I prefer Dimir on its
And
own.
then you just throw in red and you start playing Grixis, and then we all hate you. It's fine.
I think it's interesting at times what decks cause hate from our group.
No,
Like,
that one's fine. I don't mind. I really only have one problem with one deck, and that's just
no, I mean, like, there's been times where I've brought decks and I'm like, I mean, it's not that good. And it was like, that deck's crazy. And I'm like, I mean, I got a good draw. Like, don't like, you know, like, don't write the deck off already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, my deck broke the game by turn 4.
Yeah. I didn't know it could do that. I'm sorry.
I'm still laughing at the other night when I kept a no-lander with cast without realizing it. And because I'd run to do laundry while the guys were setting up the game.
Yeah.
And I got back to my hand because I saw Mana Crypt and Arcane Signet. So I was like, okay, I'll probably have one land in there. I'll be fine. I'm going to figure it out. And then I got back and I'm like, okay, Mana Crypt, Arcane Signet, spell, 5 spells. And I was like, oh no. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, this is bad. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Any treasure payoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I had a draw spell and I had
You're fine.
and I had like Jessica's Will in my opening hand. So I mean, I had ways to make mana, but the problem was it was like, ooh, and then it took me 7 turns to draw land, and it was cringe-worthy.
That hurts my teeth.
What I really want to quickly talk about is who told the both of you that you could play Yuriko together into a giant game?
Because I've gotten to this point where I only bring like
Who
one.
approves you two to play that? Like, no, like
But I only bring like one deck every week or whatever, because I'm like, if I want to play a deck, I'm going to play this one deck so I can keep like learning it and getting it better, blah, blah, blah. If I'm testing it, I definitely do that. But I straight up was like, I'm playing this because this is all I got. And he goes, cool. I was like, you might want to play a creatures deck because like I'm only going to get like 3 creatures out and that's all I need to do. And he goes, well, this one has a lot of creatures, and it was Yuriko, and I died laughing. I was
it's
like,
like,
do
it's like
it.
that meme. It's like I got 2 looks, and that's
Did we
it.
record that? Did we record that?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
'Cause that
So
was a two-headed
for
giant.
everyone that didn't get to see it, because I don't know,
No one will get to see it.
Yeah, it wasn't recorded. We decided to play like a modified EDH version of Two-Headed Giant.
We talked a little bit
Yeah,
about
we've-
Twitter
we-
chat.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we, when Mikey pulled out his Yuriko, I knew immediately. I was like, oh, I've got my Yuriko. Granted, she may not be built to the best of her ability or the best of my ability, but that was the game.
Do you remember
that
my first
You
line?
told me to play a card, and I said, yeah, okay, and played a different card.
Yeah.
Do you remember the line?
It's fine.
Do you remember the line I said when I realized both of you were playing Yuriko? Do you remember my exact quote?
I don't remember.
I'm
exactly.
going to kill you guys first.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Like,
you looked around the table. You're like, "What is everybody playing?" And you looked at us. and was like, "I'm killing you guys first." You didn't even say anything else. It's just like, "Oh, okay, cool, it's fine."
Yeah, I still can't believe you got. What was it? You were at like 6 life or something like that, and I just needed one decent card.
We both flipped over
And
the
whiffed.
same land.
Yep.
It was the life game.
And I was aggravated at that point because I bricked on my draw. That was terrible. And Hayden was playing his first official game, and I was kind of helping him through Gorklon. He did really well. That deck drew amazing that game.
Yeah,
and
it
saved
really
our team.
did.
But I'm sitting here, I'm like, I think it was 10 life. And I'm like, you have to kill us at this point. Because I know you've got a couple cheeky high mana spells. I'm like, I have no idea what his list has. But seeing as how many random creatures from Kamigawa he's playing, he's got to hit some random 5 CMC common I've never seen before, and it's going to deal us like 10 damage.
I've definitely got a couple of those. I don't remember who was it that I played that Silent Blade Oni. When I got 14 damage off on y'all, man, that felt nice.
But I was like, he's gonna flip some random common that I've only seen twice, and it's gonna kill us. And then you both whiffed, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
I was so mad.
I
right
wasted
before
all
that,
of my...
right before that, I don't remember what card I played, but I drew a card on Riley or on Corey and Andrew's end step, and I drew Eldest Reborn.
Oh, that would have hurt.
Yeah, and so if I had waited. I drew a land and then an Eldest Reborn for turn. And so if I had waited, I would have drawn the land for turn and then Eldest Reborn for Yuriko damage and killed you.
Yeah.
And that was my fatal mistake because we definitely would have been able to take out Andrew without massive Goreclaw swinging at us. So
I was kind of intrigued that game so much and why you didn't target us. They didn't target us more, because Goreclaw is one of those decks that you do not let go on its own without stopping it. Like you guys removed Goreclaw off the table once, but it was like
we would have done it a second time, but
yeah,
the deck was building, and
somebody wanted to draw cards,
and no one was really interacting. And I was like, guys, like I don't think you realize this is a steam train that you're not going to stop once it gets moving. And I was just completely bricking. I was just doing my best to like try to stay in the game.
I was so flabbergasted by it. I was like, you have literally everything you want.
With 12 life left, I drew Bolus's Citadel, and I was so mad.
Yeah.
Because Bolus's Citadel at about 30 life would have fixed all of my problems. I was playing Belladros, like an Aristocrats deck, and it would have fixed literally all of my problems, but I literally drew it with like 12 life left, and I'm like, just get out of here. Like, I almost threw it across the room. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you know? And it was funny because Hayden's just like, are we doing good? And I'm like, we're alive. That's what counts. You know?
You're doing good.
Yeah.
And that's what counts.
And then we stormed off the most I've ever seen Goreclaw storm off before to end the game.
Oh, yeah. Freaking Andrew and Corey let y'all hit them for, like, what, 30 damage?
39.
Yes.
We got 39 treasures with old Gnawbone, and I was like, well, I will happily take 39 mana because I can,
win the game.
I don't know if they just must have missed that you had old Gnawbone out.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
That turn went pretty fast.
Because,
not in like a time-wise, but I mean in like we were just dumping permanents on the battlefield, and I have a gut feeling they just missed it.
Well, yeah. I mean, when they said, we'll take the damage, and then you were like, okay, we'll net 39 treasures, that's when Andrew looked over and was like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Gnawbone. And then he also thought that Gnawbone only did when it dealt damage, and it's not. It's when
I wish, but no.
We all wish.
We all wish, but no.
That card should have said that with what set it came out with. But, with that being said, Millzy, final questions for the group. Or final thoughts, final words, final breaths. What am I saying? Flat bread?
I wanted to end with, Mikey, we did this a few weeks ago, and I'm still actively working on the
so am I, don't worry.
challenges that we made for each other.
One of them.
I actually, honestly, I plan on doing them on video.
Oh, nice.
So I plan on putting them up on the channel. That's the main reason I haven't done too much work. But what I thought would be fun is, Josh, I know that your commander knowledge, as far as the commander knowledge, like actual creature pool, is not that grandiose.
Yeah.
But I thought it'd be fun for you to challenge us to build a commander of your choice.
Yummy.
I'm going to say within reason in that
I'm not going to build the
pick
gummy.
a deck that's actually buildable. Please don't give me that, there's this legendary creature that if you don't cast it from your hand, you lose the game. Like, be relatively serious. I mean, I don't care if it's like it's just a terrible commander and I want to, that's fine. But
I'll take Turgid down. No, I'm just kidding.
I'd like to see what you would come up with for us. Now, if you can do it short enough to do it on here on the recording, that's fine. Or if you want to tell us later, that's fine. I realize I'm putting you on the spot. But Mikey, what I want to do as well is both of us give him a challenge of something to build.
Oh, easy peasy.
Okay, so one that I want to see Zach build is what's...
Before you answer that question, I want you to think in your head, do you really want to see me build?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, I was like, because a lot of people have said that.
You might have already built this.
And then you played against it, and then you didn't want me to play it.
Yeah. Jirina Kudrow.
Jirina Kudrow?
I don't know if I'm saying her name properly.
It doesn't matter. I just...
from the Commander 2020 set. When she enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. For each time you cast a commander from the command zone, other humans you control get +2/+0.
I think I know who he's talking about.
She's a black...
Oh, she was the base commander.
She's the Mardu, yeah.
All right, well.
So, and then you, Mikey...
Let's make it gross. No.
How do we break this?
I want to see you build a Marisi Breaker of the Coil. I feel like that'd be kind of cool.
Oh, that's actually a really good pick for you. I'm actually really happy about that.
Hang on, I need to know who this is.
I'm really surprised you've never looked into Marisi. Marisi?
Marisi. These are both commanders that I think are pretty cool, but I haven't really done a whole lot into it. So
I have. Let me tell you.
Hello.
Let me tell you how this card got beat out because I thought playing aura spells on other people's creatures, and then goading them was better.
All right, Josh, my pick for you is a card that I've tried in the past, but it wasn't my favorite color combination. But I'm going to challenge you to build Rien, Angel of Rebirth. It is a card from Core 2020, or it just got reprinted in the new Damiri set.
Familiar.
It is a Naya Angel commander, and I'd love to see what you would do with angels in 3 colors. Especially 3 colors that aren't common for angels. Now, it's a little bit facetious because you get all of the red-white angels that are very good.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see what you would do with the deck. And listen, this is a commander choice for me that I would have built long before now. The problem is there's like 95 Naya commanders that I want to build
I
before
didn't realize
this.
that she was just reprinted.
Yeah, she just got reprinted in the decks. My guess would be probably
the
in
pre-con.
the 5-color pre-con.
Yep,
Yeah.
Painbow. Yep. All right, so for my pick for you, Josh, is a commander that came out right before you started with us. Or not right before, but a little bit before you started with us. Vadric, Astral Archmage.
That boy.
That boy.
It's on it's a bucket list card. I want to fit this thing in a deck so bad.
Okay.
I want to see what you can do with like a spell slingy deck. Just kind of testing your waters kind of thing.
Okay.
And the night and day mechanic, I think, is something that is cool and should be brought around to the table more, kind of like the Monarch and some other stuff too.
Yeah.
I love those kind of mechanics. That changes the game forever.
Yeah.
Dude,
you got to do the random commander.
Oh, that's right. All right. Well, so there's other podcasts who do like at the end of it they do. I actually was listening to a podcast today, and they do a random commander at the end of every episode, and I think it's kind of a cool idea. So what I want to do here is I'm going to reveal the commander, and I want us to each talk about either what strategy you can think of that you'd want to build, or give me like a card that comes to mind.
I hope it's one of the really ones.
Like, I don't expect you to give me a fleshed out idea of what you would do.
I'll give you all 99.
Give me like a card.
All 99.
Give me a card that would like point you in the right direction. Are we ready?
No.
I am.
Oh, yeah.
We have Arkham Dagston from Double Masters. Legendary creature, human artificer for 3 and a blue. Tap, target artifact creature's controller sacrifices it. That player may search their library for a non-creature artifact card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle their library. I'm really glad that doesn't say target opponent, because otherwise that would make this a lot worse. Like, at least you can target yourself here, and
That's
you can
what,
kind of...
Yeah. That's
you
what
can,
it's wanting to do, for sure.
You can make some cheap, Thopters and things like that, and then sacrifice them to go get your, good non-creature artifacts. Believe me, there's no good non-creature artifacts that you can go get in mono blue.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's probably what I would do. I would make some sort of way to make artifact creatures really cheaply, whether it's, using...
Thopter Pi Network.
Yeah, Thopter Pi Network, exactly. Or Mirrodin Besieged, or those kind of things. Make them cheaply, sacrifice them, and go get this.
I want to make a Thopter deck so badly, where it's just Thopters.
I think I would probably rather play, what's her name? The Lady in the Lake from Eldraine.
Mia, whatever.
Yeah, I think she would probably be better for this type of strategy, but I think it's interesting.
I was gonna go with like play Tron, not Voltron, Tron. Get Karn.
Literal Tron.
Get Karn, do Karn things, make artifacts, creatures, and then sacrifice artifact creatures, blah, blah, blah. You could also go the vehicles route here. I don't think it's... We're not going to talk about it.
I'm sure that you saying Karn just gave me slight PTSD. Because the It's Corn thing that's going around on TikTok. Yeah. Do you know how many Magic creators I've seen make It's Karn? And I'm like, no.
That's so dumb. Yeah, that's probably what I would go. It's like Karn, do something crazy.
I mean, I feel like the thing here is like, there's really not any grandiose things I can see to do with this. And we probably are all going to have a pretty similar strategy.
Oh, no. This will be on the table next turn. What do you mean? Like, this is our build random deck. We should do this.
I'm good, fam.
Oh, not this guy. I'm just saying, like, we should, like... I wish we had, like, a fourth, so we can be like... Okay, great. We're all going to go random, and this is who you're building, and this is who you're playing on video next time.
Well, that's what we want to do eventually, with our content. Should we do another random one just to be fun?
Yeah, just for fun. I don't care.
All right, let's hope it's like better.
Let's hope it's bad.
We get question mark.
Oh, hit that refresh page.
Oh,
Never mind.
Risk the exile.
Oh, well, you just play elves and have fun.
yeah.
2 and a green elf warrior. Whenever it attacks, you gain 1 life for each elf you control. That doesn't seem like it can be breakable at all. Black, sacrifice an elf, regenerate, risk the exile. This is from the printing we show in front of us is from the Kaldheim commander deck.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
He's originally from.
My guess would be
It's not Lore Wild Wall.
Morningtide from Lorwyn.
Oh, it is from Lore. I'm done. Moving on.
Yeah, not many printings.
Well, the funny thing is again, you
Literally 2 printings. Like literally 2 printings.
Well, yeah, his other one is literally the same too. Like he only has 2 printings. As Redeem.
So I mean, you do this unheard of strategy in elves. I don't know if you guys know about this. I'm gonna really impart some knowledge here. Okay.
Oh please.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this crazy elf strategy where we go wide. I know. It's an insane fun.
But then we smash them together and they start rolling down a hill, and it becomes a
Elf
ball.
Elf ball.
And then we tutor out Allosaurus Shepherd and we win the game. It's free real estate.
Fun question: do you put Lathril on the deck?
You can. It is green
I
black.
didn't say you could. I asked if you would.
No.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, the problem is there's so many good elf cards. How do you choose?
You don't. That's the issue. I put Elvish Mystic.
I think
on
it's
the deck.
hilarious at this point that the only card I would ever build an elf deck for is Allosaurus Shepherd because I want to win a game with it one time.
Oh, it's fun.
And then it would be the one time and I'd be good. Like it would just be like, you know what I mean? Like,
Then just disband the deck.
Just build Freyleys. Planeswalker.
but like,
I know there's better, but
I
mono
like the
green
goth
elf.
vibes.
Mono
The
green
goth
elf.
I was actually looking at Abomination of Llanowar, the one that's a star where star is the number of, I think it's elves you control.
Yeah, no, it's elves that are on the border in their graveyard.
Yeah, I mean, why not have some fun?
Just play
Go a
nothing
little
but elves.
self-mill, go a little selfie mill, go a little Golgar good times. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
And with that, I'm gonna go. That's gross. The fact that this is one of the cards.
Takes
I'm-
notes. Like takes notes.
Have fun taking notes. I'm good. I've already built my elf deck. I don't like it. It's just elves. I'm no.
I think it's funny that as a green player, like elves have been the one tribe that I've just never I'm like, okay, like yeah, it's just never been my thing.
I mean, I'm not a Legolas lover, so like I just don't care.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
I'm more of a dwarf guy myself. Hey, look, a cat.
Hello, cat.
Well, guys, we've had a lot of fun today. We're going to continue to have fun with this beautiful channel. Don't forget, Rogue Energy. Go get some good energy.
Code hometown, 10% off.
Yes, sir.
Use it.
Don't forget to, continue to watch all of our older videos. Josh, is there any random plugs you want to throw in there for yourself?
Hi, Mom.
Awesome. We will catch you next time. See you!